pledges non-interference in religious matters. In Tunisia, thousands converge on the oldest mosque in the capital to perform Eid prayers. And Nigeria on track to becoming the world's third most populous country. Well, viewers, those are your headlines in this half-hour bulletin with me, Winifred Nicole. The President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, Sunday morning joined worshippers at the King Fahad Mosque in Banjul for Eid prayers, marking the end of Ramadan. The President also received members of the Committee of Banjul Muslim Elders and other religious leaders for a meeting at his residence. As we hear in this report by Momodu Jallo, this year's meeting provides an opportunity for a new start in relations between government and religious leaders, as the head of state pledged to refrain from interfering in religious affairs, instead offering to support religious leaders in their work.
This government will not interfere on such issues.
If the religious leaders unite, then whatever they want will happen, and whatever they don't cannot happen.
Eid al-Fitr, or Qarite as it is locally known, marks the end of Ramadan, in which Muslims fast for a month in fulfillment of one of the 5 pillars of Islam. Several high-ranking government officials, including cabinet ministers and security service chiefs, and religious leaders also attended the congregation prayer, which was led by the Imam Ratib of Banjul, Al-Haji Cherno Ali Maska. Later, the Committee of Banjul Muslim Elders called on the President at his residence in Fajara in continuation of more than a century-old tradition. What started in 1900 as a consultative forum between the colonial government and the elders of Banjul has evolved into a platform for dialogue in which the two sides exchange views on issues of national concern. This year's gathering is also significant for the two sides, as it marks the first official engagement since President Barrow took office. During the past 22 years, the religious leaders have been on the receiving end of the former president's dictates and fury. The change of government has opened a window for dialogue and respect. The Imam Ratib of Banjul, Al-Haji Cherno Ali Maska, described the meeting as a new beginning in relations between the government and religious leaders. He therefore called for peace and religious tolerance.
The religious tolerance that exists between Muslims and Christians must be guarded and cherished, because that is to our benefit. The Gambia is an example that other countries can learn from to prevent religious tension, as it is the worst kind of problem.
Religious leaders, by virtue of their following and influence, have a very important role in society. Dembo Bojang, President Barrow's advisor on religious matters, wants them to use their influence to effect change in attitudes and address the problems prevalent in society.
Religion is not about witch hunting. There are certain things happening, and religious leaders should take a stance. But we just fold our hands and leave it to the security services.
The President welcomed the religious leaders and elders, thanking them for keeping alive a tradition that serves to foster understanding between the government and the people. He acknowledged the critical role they play in society, but tasked them to take a more positive role on religious matters, as his government will not interfere on such issues.
If the religious leaders unite, then whatever they want will happen, and whatever they don't cannot happen. Your unity, solidarity, and practicing what you preach is very important in this process. Your task is anything that deals with religion. You should take the lead.
President Barrow pledged to support the Gambia Supreme Islamic Council to enable him to become more representative and responsive to the various religious denominations across the country.
Religion is very important. Therefore, we cannot ignore religion. You have made a request, but I will consult my cabinet and the Minister of Finance to see what we can do to help you get a subvention.
The president was grateful to the religious leaders for taking a stance during the political crisis by defending democracy and the will of the Gambian people. Harping on the incessant bickering and controversies that had characterized relations amongst the different religious denominations, President Barrow promised to tackle the problem by engaging all stakeholders.
There are lots of disagreements among some of you here, but after this program, I want you to work with my government and advisor to reconcile the different factions to work for the interests of the Gambia.
The president's speech was reassuring to the elders, with both sides keen to chart a new future in relations. Previously, such meetings between the president and the committee of Banjul Muslim elders and religious leaders often made headlines for all the wrong reasons. But this time the elders have embraced the president's offer of a more conciliatory partnership based on mutual respect and understanding. Mamoudou Diallo, GRTS News.
Eid prayers also took place across the country. The congregational prayers provided imams the opportunity to deliver important messages on religion and social issues. Babka Senghor reports on some of the main highlights of the celebrations.
Hundreds of thousands of worshippers converged on open grounds to mark the end of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. Dressed in neatly sewn haftans, the main choice of wear for Eid festivities, men, women and children joined the congregational prayers in different parts of the country. At Latrikunda, the Imam led worshippers in congregational prayers. He delivered an important sermon touching on a wide range of issues. At Talindin Kunjang, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat also observed the Eid.
Eid al-Fitr is celebrated after completion of fasting of Ramadan. Fasting is a pillar of Islam, which is also sometimes referred to as zakat of the body. He said that faith cannot be completed without observing it. That is the reason the Quran used the word kutiba, meaning there is no chance to escape it, and it is obligatory for everyone who is not sick or on journey.
This year's Eid festivities was special for many reasons. For many, it was the first Eid on home ground after many years of absence. After spending years in exile in the United States, respected Imam Babadi is back in the country. He led Eid prayers at the Kanifing Estate area.
The only solution we have here today is unity. Unity in purpose, unity in objective, unity in our mission. Allahu Akbar.
In what was a first in the history of the country, our cameras were allowed into the Mile 2 central prisons to film the first Eid congregational prayers there. It was a unique sight as prison officers, inmates and former inmates, led by one of the high-profile former detainees, Dr. Amadou Skatat Jane, performed congregational prayers at the prison's main courtyard. It marked another chapter in the transformation process in building a new and prosperous Gambia for every citizen. GRTS News Days, Babukar Senghor.
Still on activities marking the Eid, one major feature of the celebration is the regular outings by children and even the elderly. Asatu Jate takes a closer look at what celebrants have been doing on day one of the Eid.
These are the scenes on the street of Kombo during its celebrations on Sunday. Children roaming around as they visit family, friends and loved ones in honor of the Muslim feast. The outing is a deeply rooted tradition passed on from generations, and these children are doing their best to retain some of the values that come with Eid prayers. A major feature of that is the traditional salibo. Here, children often in groups pay visit to homes, greet the elderly, who in turn pray for them and give them money. It is a day that fills the kids with excitement as they dressed in their locally made attire. They walked about, play, and for others enjoy the rest of the evening in major squares in the busiest part of town like Westfield and the Kairaba Avenue. There are those who simply enjoy the feast in the comfort of their houses. That rare moment for the family to gather to have one precious time together. The Njais had family visitors today, and it was a similar story for the Kolikunda family at Latrikunda German. It was a special moment for the mother of the family.
I feel so happy. Let everybody be one and listen to each other. We love each other. And then also we have to think properly and have good thinking of each other.
Honestly, I'm so happy to witness this day because it's not easy. Many of us were here last year and some are not. But we give thanks to Allah and be grateful for this day. I'm not used to going out frequently. I'm used to cooking here because I'm alone here now. My sisters are not here. Before, I used to go out because my elder sister is here and I'm free whenever I come home. I just dressed up, feel nice, go out, chill out. But now, I can say I'm the family woman now.
For the children though, the festivity will run into the second day of the celebrations, when they will continue their visit and help nurture the tradition of Talibo. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Aissatou Jata.
And to other stories, the Minister of the Interior says measures are in place to make the Gambia a drug-free zone. Honorable Mai Ahmed Fati said this during a televised statement in observance of International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Drug Trafficking. Let's take a listen.
The theme for this year's commemoration is Listen First. Listening to children and youth is the first step to help them grow healthy and safe. This is building on the success of the year 2016. The United Nations General Assembly Special Session on Drugs, UNGAS 2016, marked an important milestone in achieving the goals set in the Political Declaration and Plan of Action on International Cooperation towards an integrated, balanced strategy to counter the world drug problem. This declaration defines actions to be taken by member states as well as goals to be achieved by 2019. The declaration recommends measures to address demand and supply reduction, improve access to controlled medicines while preventing diversion. It also covers areas of human rights, youth, children and women, issues relating to emerging challenges, including new psychoactive substances, strengthening international cooperation, alternative development, and a strong focus on prevention and treatment are also addressed by the declaration. The theme for this year's commemoration is Listen First. Listening to children and youth is the first step to help them grow healthy and safe. This is building on the success of the
Interior Minister Mai Ahmed Fati speaking there on the occasion of the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Drug Trafficking. The Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs is conducting a two-day training for personnel of key sectors in line with the ongoing public finance management reforms, which aims to bring about accountability in the use of public resources. Abdunjai tells us more.
Their selection has been guided by the sole objective of having a well-trained in-country team ready to push ahead necessary reforms in key sectors. This is informed by the need to minimize waste and to bring about accountability in the use of public resources.
It is common knowledge that effective delivery of public service is closely associated with poverty reduction and growth. And countries with strong, transparent, and accountable PFM system tend to deliver services more effectively and equitably, as well as regulate markets more efficiently and fairly.
DPS Drame said there have been achievements in the various areas, citing budget preparation, taxpayer obligations, transparency in procurement, and effective internal auditing. Drame was, however, quick to note that the Ministry of Finance cannot be expected to undertake the reforms in isolation. His position is supported by Amikole Jeng, whose office has been tasked to oversee the reforms.
The training is out to seek and provide to the participants identified through a very competitive process to enhance their capacities in the development of their PFM systems in their own sectors.
The German firm GIC has been contracted to run the 2-day in-country training. This prepares participants drawn from the key sectors targeted under the reforms for a short-term training in South Africa and Germany later this year.
It's just 4 countries we have selected to be part of this, and the Gambia is one of these countries, and we feel a lot of engagement and a lot of demands in this country to continue working on PFM, and this is quite encouraging, and so we hope our training will be able to contribute to this.
Sound public financial management systems aggregate control of public resources